Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of the 94 Feet Podcast. I don't know if we brothers today, but you know,
we're brothers.
we're here.
We're
here,
brothers. We're happy and we're singing. How does the song go?
and we're colored.
Give me a high five. Not today, though. It's COVID. Not today. Hand sanitizer. Yeah, no high five, especially from you.
Oh, what's up, good people?
What's up, Nation Tone? Can you fix that camera for us? Okay, Z got it. Never mind. No, because it's cutting Kesey out a little bit. No, Tone, do it. Tone, fix that.
I didn't even get a chance to even get my ginger ale today, man.
Your Canada Dry? Canadian
Did you
Dry?
get your lottery ticket?
Yeah, scratched it in the car because somebody was
Oh, so you had my time to
50
scratch
minutes.
it. I mean, you just took time to scratch it.
57 minutes late.
You know, it'd be like that sometimes. You know, we all ain't perfect. Some of us get here 15 minutes late. Sometimes we get here 10 minutes late. But long as we here, that's the important part here. In 2022, I want to walk in knowing, hey, you're here. Because you could be somewhere else.
And
you
then
could you could be in the gutter. You could be in the ditch. You could be somewhere else. Hold on, Andre. I know you like to interrupt me, but hold on a second here. I just want to say that I'm happy to see my brothers, Dre and Kesey. I'm happy to see y'all, man.
And then got the nerve in the parking lot to say, wait, you ain't my mother? I said, wait a minute. You came at me first.
I came at you.
You came at me
yelling
first.
at me from across the parking lot.
I was
my
not
mama.
yelling at you. I said,
What did you say?
first of all, I said, Z, grab the hand sanitizer out the car.
Did you yell it or did you say it like that?
I said it with you. First thing you said was, what you doing? I said, whoa, I know you not talking like you not an hour late.
Here we go. Bringing in family business on the air.
Hey,
What
y'all,
happened was-
Casey started
I didn't start anything. I didn't say one word
it.
yet.
What? You started it. But anyway,
He
Happy New
always
Year.
started, walk away. That's
Happy New Year, y'all.
See, that's what y'all like
Happy
to do.
New Year.
You-
Merry
y'all-
Christmas.
as you can see, good people, they like to tag team up on me.
Oh,
but
wait.
hey,
Whoa.
I'm about to get both these monkeys off my back.
Whoa. Why we got to be monkeys?
Like the tag team win Wisconsin got on Christmas Day?
Listen,
See, that's how you roll it back in.
it was
Exactly.
great.
Thank you, Tom.
It was great.
It
But
was a good game.
I could have used another word,
Oh, my.
so,
but I said monkeys.
well, like I told Kesey,
Tom with the, oh my.
like I told Kesey and Isaiah, y'all better act like y'all know who I am up in this piece. So put some respect on my name.
You know what?
Yeah.
I promise you.
Yeah.
All
Happy New
them
Year.
chickens. After this season. All after this season. All after this season.
Oh, this is gonna be our last season, y'all.
That's gonna be it.
Yeah, I'm casting for 94 feet 2.0, where
Go
people
ahead.
come on time.
Somebody being put in the free agent.
You must not have no black people.
Well, speak for yourself, man. Don't stereotype our whole race because of you, bro.
Come on, man. We already know black people like to be on late,
Thank you.
Well, if you ever work for
especially
me,
fashionably late.
Exactly.
if you ever work for me and that's your thing, we ain't gonna last. So it's a good thing that this is free and we're paying for
Well,
it.
good thing I don't work for you.
You better thank God.
No, you better thank God.
Because you would have been gone.
Because you'd have been cussed out. You'd have been got my pink slip ready. I'll be waiting on it when I come the next time.
You won't cut somebody else out after doing that to me.
Why I won't? Because
Yeah.
I'm going to find another job. My skill set is universal.
Not in this Andre Douglas networking world.
Are y'all done?
Listen, man, I know the same people you know.
No.
Don't act like we don't know the same people. We work in the same facilities.
Oh man, Happy New Year, everybody!
Happy
Letting
New
y'all
Year.
into our little goofy world here. What's going on, brothers?
What's going on, man? How y'all been doing? We already covered that.
Oh, good,
So
man.
let's go ahead and
Life
get
is
into
good,
the,
man.
intro.
We're just clowning people. One of the things we did when we started this season, we started letting y'all in our personal life a little bit. Started talking about things that we do and enjoy. And chill out, man. Be quiet.
I'm not speaking for yourself.
I'm speaking. I am speaking. That what Madam Vice President said. I am speaking, Mr. Vice President. I am speaking. No. And so, we start talking about like Bucks games and what we did for the holidays, and I think a really long episode about some tacos but yeah, thanks for joining us in 2022, y'all.
Go ahead, man. You got the injury report.
Injury report. Let's start right away.
for our
Ricky
non-COVID
Rubio,
players.
right? Rick Rubio torn ACL out for the season. He seems to be a lot of very injury-prone player as of late.
Man,
Man,
every year.
every year,
Every
Really?
year. Why you
Every
think he's on
year.
a different team every year? Just think he was on Utah last year.
Utah injured too.
And he
As
got
well.
injured and went to Cleveland.
Yep,
Injured. And now they probably finna get rid of him too.
yep.
Nah.
Well, they just
it depends.
signed Rondo as
They didn't sign him, but continue.
or they traded
Yeah.
for Rondo, same thing. So Denver Nuggets, Aaron Gordon hamstring is out. He is listed as day-to-day. Austin Rivers, thumb. He is listed as day-to-day. LA Clippers, Paul George suffered a torn ligament in his right elbow, 3 to 4 weeks. Excuse me.
Man,
Derrick
brother
Rose
can't catch a break.
underwent ankle surgery. He is out 8 weeks. Get better to all the players because, like Zeke said, besides those injuries, COVID is just kind of running rapid. through
Still
the
running
NBA.
rampant like crazy.
Yeah, it is.
So I just want to, speaking of like more towards the COVID situation, which is just kind of like running kind of crazy across the NBA. The NBA issued a hardship rule where it's a temporary spot will allow teams to exceed to the 15-man roster in times of need, i.e. injuries or illnesses. This is what has been going on as far as like the COVID situation. And because of that, a lot of guys have been getting the 10-day contracts. One of those guys is Isaiah Thomas. He signed with the LA Lakers for a 10-day contract. They didn't renew it. And now he's with the Dallas Mavericks for a 10-day contract. One of the things that was talked about why Isaiah did his 10-day contract with the Lakers was, and why they didn't resign it, because they weren't winning games with Isaiah Thomas. And I don't say they kind of in LA, it seems to be there a lot of shifting the blame, whether it's the players, the coaches, the methods. Everybody's to blame except for LeBron. And my question is, what are you guys' thoughts on this? As far as him, should you expect a 10-day player to make a difference in your winning and losses and stuff, so on and so forth?
I mean, if you expecting to get that contract to finish out the season, you want to come in and make an impact. You can't come in and shoot like he did and shoot, what was it, 2 for like 18?
I think he had like maybe 2 bad games. I mean, but out of a 10-day span, how many games you playing? Like 3?
He played like 3 or 4. How many games do you need?
You
You talking about NBA players. You ain't talking about
NBA players, but are coming off the
you
bench.
picked up off the block. You know what I mean?
So you are expecting them to make a significant impact right away, I guess.
So Isaiah Thomas with the Lakers, he played not even 10 games. He played 8, 2, 4, 6, 7 rather. And his first game back, he had 22. He played 22 minutes. He had 19, 2, 1, and 1. He was 5 for 12. His second game against the Bulls, he had 13. He was 5 for 11. Third game, he had 3. He was 1 for 11. Second game, he had 2. He was 1 for 5. Didn't play on Christmas. On the 29th, he played 13 minutes. He scored 6. He was 3 for 8. So if the Lakers signed Isaiah Thomas thinking he was going to be a championship piece, we know that's not why they signed him.
I know that, but I'm saying, like, are you expecting these guys to make sudden impacts right away for 10 days?
I'm telling you what it is, man. They were expecting him to come in and let's see if a change of scenery at that backup point guard position will make a difference. And it really didn't make a difference because they still lost majority of the games he played.
Yeah, I don't think the Lakers signing Isaiah Thomas. It was just one of those things to keep adding older players to an already bad roster. I was not a fan of the signing of him to the Lakers, but the Lakers are bad anyway. So what do they have to lose, right? What do they have to lose? The Lakers were bad. Isaiah Thomas was the leading scorer in the one game that he played. That was his only good game, quote unquote, and he was still 5 for 12, which isn't terrible for 22 points. So to Zeke's point, everybody on the Lakers is being blamed for everything but LeBron. It's like they're giving him a pass on this mediocre season. I didn't expect the Lakers to sign Isaiah Thomas to make a difference, but I'm glad that Isaiah Thomas got a chance to come back and play and show that he still has something in the tank, and he might make a good role player for some other teams that are deep. The Lakers aren't deep. They're old. They're not deep at all. There's nothing about the Lakers roster that says, I'm afraid to play the Lakers.
But the thing that's killing me about what you're saying is you said they blaming everybody but LeBron.
They're blaming, and I stand by that.
And who are they supposed to blame?
Well, first,
because if you look at LeBron numbers, he's doing his job, what he normally do.
I'm not saying that LeBron is to blame.
He's averaging over 30 points a game, over 7 assists,
he's not,
over 8 rebounds. Huh?
He's not averaging over 30.
The last 8 games, yes, he has.
So yeah, last 8 games doesn't admit his season average to that. What I'm saying is
He's
this.
missed quite a few games. You got to remember that too. In between the games that they lost,
I'm
When he
not
played
saying
this stretch when he's been back healthy. This last how many games he been back? 9 games.
9, something like that, over 9 games.
He's averaged over 31 points a game.
But I get that, but most of those games are losses, so that's
because
cool.
everybody else ain't showing up.
And that's fine. I'm not saying.
So who are you going to blame?
Well, the only
okay. You know, I ain't really going to get into this, but since we're here, we might as well get
I'm
into
here.
it.
We might as well go with it.
Oh,
You done brought him up.
If you want to blame LeBron, you want to blame LeBron for putting his team together. That's where LeBron comes into blame.
How do you blame him?
Did he not call Russell Westbrook?
Did he
not call Russell Westbrook?
Do you not believe that the front office brought LeBron into the office like, hey, we want to bring in Russell. What you think?
absolutely.
They did that, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, who makes the final decision?
LeBron.
The front office or LeBron?
LeBron. And if
No.
you don't believe that,
Hold on a
come
second.
You think
Stop.
Rob Pelinka
Hold
is
on a
going to
second.
listen
Hold
to everything? He's
Yes, he's
Stop.
come out.
You ain't my.
Listen.
He's Robert, whatever his name
Rob
is.
Pelinka.
He's come out and said, we go to LeBron to say, who do you want to play with?
As they should. It's respect from a top star.
But so when that roster
That's
comes
just
to criticism and being as bad as they are, who should I blame?
You
The
cannot
GM or the guy who's running? Because when
the GM,
LeBron
because
doesn't get his way, he leaves. Yes or no? When LeBron doesn't get his way, he leaves.
But listen, at the end of the day, the
Here we
person
go.
that signs those documents
So
that goes through,
So it's everybody's fault
is-
for
is-
LeBron.
no, when at the end of the day, when the papers go through,
Mm-hmm.
there's one person name that's on them papers.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron James is not the one signing those papers. It's Rob Pelinka and Jenny Buss.
I was going to ask you a quick question.
So if they don't agree with what LeBron is putting together, then guess what you say? Hey, LeBron, this ain't gonna work. We ain't gonna be able to do Russell. We're gonna go with somebody else.
are you?
Or we're
willing
gonna go with this person.
Are you willing to risk LeBron leaving for that? That's what you have to ask yourself. Because when LeBron doesn't get his way, he leaves.
Well, at age
Yes
30,
or no? That's a yes or no question.
I don't think LeBron went out seeking Russell. I think it was Russell.
He said it.
He went out seeking. He said to the exact words, "I went out and seek Russell
I
Westbrook
talk-
to come play with me here in LA." No, he did not
No,
say that.
He called Russell over and said, "Hey man,
No, because
we finna pick you up. You want to
No,
play with
because
us?" He said, "Yeah."
that's because the front office said we're going to get Russell.
No,
LeBron, go convince him to come.
Kesey, I know you is not that big of a fan that you are blind to the fact that
No, it's not
LeBron
blind. It's about reality.
I
That
was
is reality.
I was literally getting ready to ask, how much is LeBron paying you?
Because
Because
you talking about like LeBron that has no impact, and if he does, we don't have to listen to him. If you don't listen to LeBron, he will leave. It happened in Miami.
That ain't reason he
well,
left
here's the
Miami.
thing. Here's the thing.
Why did he leave Miami?
Here's the thing. He
He wanted to
left
go back
Miami
to
go back to
Cleveland.
Cleveland to make things right.
To make things that had nothing to do with who he wanted.
That was also part of the reason. He said it.
Who did he want in Miami that he couldn't get in Miami?
Pat Riley. He wanted the coach. He wanted Pat Riley back as head coach. That's proven. He said that himself.
And,
But here's the bottom line.
and then on top of that Cleveland roster,
Was terrible.
JR, Tristan
terrible.
Thompson, Kevin Love. Who got them over there?
Tony Schrumper.
Tony who?
Ahmad Shah.
I'm sure. I'm full of the
Who?
you. I'm full of the you. Hey man,
So he
listen here, Mr. Executive
No.
Producer.
exactly.
All these side
Don't
bars,
even- don't-
come to
don't-
the mic, man.
Don't
If
even-
your sound bites be coming in on the episodes, we are in the background too.
I don't mind him, Tony.
Don't-
I don't
mind
mind, but come to the
Tom.
mic.
I don't mind
Don't have me get on Iman Shumpert
I'll be here next week.
in his podcast and in his views.
Oh, we gonna get there.
Oh, we're gonna get there. So here's the bottom line. At the end of the day, LeBron is to blame slightly because he helped put together this disastrous franchise known as the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers will be lucky if they get into the play-in tournament because LeBron is having to work too hard at age 37. Isaiah Thomas is not the answer. Westbrook is averaging on some days a quadruple double because he has 10 turnovers. Okay, because he has 10 turnovers. So Isaiah Thomas with the Lakers, no one expected this to be oh my God, the Lakers are going to move into first and second place.
When I expected to, because like you said, the Lakers aren't deep. So when you bring like somebody like Isaiah Thomas in, I do kind of expect him to kind of pinpoint or bring some type of energy off the bench.
That's more of what it was. Like, let's see what type of energy he gonna bring to the squad. You know, maybe we get a glimpse of that Boston Isaiah
Well,
since he's been out the league for a while. Let's see what he do.
But that first game, he looked very impressive.
He did.
That first game, that second game, his minutes were taken back a bit. And that's the thing, like Jeremy Lin. I go back to Jeremy Lin. When Lin's sanity was a thing, it was a thing because the Knicks didn't have anybody.
And they were winning.
And they were winning, right? They
With
gave
Lin's
him
sanity.
PT. But the minute they started playing with his minutes, the minute Melo got back in the mix, what happened? Lin's sanity started fading away.
Yeah.
When LeBron comes back and LeBron is the star of the show, those minutes, that scoring has to go somewhere. So Kesey mentioned LeBron was averaging 30. I have to fact check it. He was averaging 30 the last 10 games or whatever. So Isaiah's minutes and his time has to go somewhere. I'm glad he got picked up by Dallas. Not quite sure what he's going to do with Luka. I'm not even sure what Dallas was thinking other than being nice, maybe.
I mean, that's all they would be because they already got a little bitty point guard in Brunson. I mean, what they gonna do with two little bitty point guards? I'm serious, man. Come on,
No,
man.
you so disrespectful.
Little bitty,
no.
little bitty.
You calling these grown men
No,
little bitty?
but I'm saying in the league they are itty bitty point guards
All right,
because
Derek,
everybody is 6'4" and up, and they both 5'8", 5'9".
like I said, but when it comes to
Shout out to the itty bitty point.
itty bitty. Wow.
Man, I like that game. Listen, it has nothing to do with how they play.
Hey, we're going to put that on
Look at that,
Twitter.
man. It's just-
Itty bitty point
The
guards.
itty bitty point guards. Wow.
KC Day.
But
Listen, when you an itty bitty point guard,
why?
you got to be a standout stud.
Wait a minute.
So the reason they are in that league is because they are actually standout studs,
Hold
though.
up. Let's go to our social
wow.
media.
You call
real
it what
quick.
you want to call
Hold
it,
up.
man. Don't do that.
No. Hold up. We got to go to social media. KC, wait a minute, y'all. Here we go. 94 Feet Nation. This is what makes us special because we're organic. All right. Say it again. What did you say about itty bitty point guards? Go ahead.
Listen,
Go ahead. Itty bitty point guards. What they got to do?
they have to stand out. They have to be standout studs, and that's what they are. I mean, Isaiah used to be one of them, but he gotta replicate how he played in Boston and bring that to a new team.
I think that
Whether it's changing,
I think if you make an impact on the court while you're on the court, they'll extend your 10-day.
Agreed. 'Cause
So
if you look at his
I
numbers,
think
they were terrible.
after his first game, that was pretty much a little spark, and then that was it.
That was it.
Now moving forward, you got other guys I want to mention that also got these 10-day contracts they were giving out, like government cheese. Joe Johnson and CJ Miles got a 10-day contract for the Boston Celtics.
Have
Lance-
either of them played?
I think Joe played once or twice.
man, Joe Johnson didn't even get in the game against Milwaukee.
He
I
did.
was looking for him.
I was looking for him.
Joe Johnson's one of my favorite players of all times, man.
But like, you know what's funny about this? Like when you throw these guys these 10-day contracts like Joe, who can still put up buckets. If you don't know how to use them, though, it's not going to be the same as you have when you're used to the roster you have. So like Isaiah Thomas, Joe Johnson, CJ Miles, these guys got thrown into the mix of these teams, and we think because they can still put up points, they're supposed to make a sudden impact. But when that coach has already a scheme set for the team that he has a rotation. Even if with the COVID situation, you can't put Isaiah Thomas in for center. You can only put him in for point guard.
Itty bitty
The
point
itty bitty
guard.
point guard.
Itty bitty point guard. So when you can only do so much with him, and even Joe Johnson, going back to him, Joe Johnson's 6'8", but I'm sure he's slow because he's old.
But at the same time,
And
at
CJ Miles.
6'8", Joe Johnson is strong enough to guard the threes and the fours in this league.
So you know
I don't
what?
know if strong enough is even that because
Joe Johnson is a bucket.
yeah, he's a bucket
Used to be.
when he's playing 3-on-3 in the
You know what I was getting to.
yeah, well, he's a bucket there because he's playing 3-on-3 and they playing street ball.
So the NBA, the NBA just released their NBA. All this is the NBA version of stimulus checks. That's all this is. They are giving stimulus checks to players that are old to have enough spots on the roster. There is no intention on Lance. Is it Lance Stevenson? There is no intention on him to suit up and play a game. There is no intention.
Itty bitty point guard.
There is no intent on Joe Johnson to play a game. There is no intent on CJ Miles to play a game. Remember, the NBA requires a certain number of players before a game is forfeited.
Yeah.
So these 10-day stimulus checks that they're giving these players are just to say we have enough players to play the game of basketball without forfeiting. Joe Johnson in his 10-day stimulus check with the Boston Celtics, and he's gone now, Joe Johnson averaged 2 minutes and 2 points. Okay? He played one time. He played on December 22nd with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he had 2 minutes and 2 points. Okay? Best stimulus check I ever had, okay? Because mine, I had to wait on a paper check, but that's another story for another day. All the other games, he did not play at all. So these players that are being signed, there is no intention on making their team better. It is to have the number of players so your game doesn't get canceled. And I believe the NBA requires 8 players for a game to be played. I believe it's 8, right?
I think so.
I believe it's 8. Joe Johnson wasn't going to play for Boston.
The new rule, I think he got reduced. It used to have to be, 12?
10. Used to be like 10.
Yeah, and I don't know what the numbers used to be. I'll have to research that. But Joe Johnson, no one took that signing serious. No one. The 2 points he scored against Cleveland was when the game was almost over. Okay?
Now, okay, my question for you, because I do have a list of players who got the 10-day stimulus check that you just said. So I guess my thing is about that is, again, we know Joe Johnson is a bucket. We know Joe Johnson is a bucket.
He used to be a bucket.
But if you don't know how to use him, he's not going to be a bucket. But that's almost with any player, whether old or young.
But even having a veteran like Joe Johnson in, a guy like Tatum can learn a lot from somebody like Joe Johnson.
I mean, Jaylen Brown
Just
was saying
having
that's
him
in the locker room.
Just having him as a locker room player like Miami has Udonis, because Udonis ain't getting no minutes.
Not a one.
He's there for the enforcer role anyway.
He still ain't getting no minutes.
He's a locker room guy, but that's okay. You need people on your team to be your locker room guys. You need people to be your bullies. See, Udonis Haslem, when he'll get in the game to give someone a hard foul. He'll get in the game to get in the face of the player that's been harassing Jimmy Buckets or Bam Adebayo. So the rare minutes that he does play, go back and look at the past 2 seasons when Haslem has gotten in the game. It's been to be that bully role or to give that hard foul.
So is Udonis really a bully? Is that what you're trying to say?
I think he is. Absolutely.
So you scared of him?
I ain't scared of nobody. I don't know him, but I know what his role is.
You scared of him?
Not at all.
I ain't scared, but when you tell me to shut up, I might shut up.
All I'm saying is if Haslam's on the court, if Haslam's on the court, why don't you just stick to basketball? You get up. That's that. You know what that is? You know what that is? That's like when you ribbing and the person start talking about their money. You know what I'm saying? You know it ain't funny if you got to talk about. That's what you just did. Chill out.
Oh my goodness. What's the saying? Ain't that the killer calling the pot black?
It is. It is.
Haslam has a role with the Heat, and none of these 10-day stimmy players will have that role. Their role is to be a number on that team. That's what it is.
Lance Stephenson?
Especially him, Mr. Blowing Ear. Especially him.
What about Mario Chalmers?
You remember that foolishness, man?
What about?
I'm talking about on microphone, man.
What about Mario Chalmers?
So Mario Chalmers, in my opinion, is the one player out of all of them who might actually catch a second chance. He might actually catch a second chance. Here's why.
Why?
Because Miami legitimately doesn't have a backup point guard.
They got that guy that was torching the Bucks. Martin. His last name is, I don't know his first name.
Well, everybody can torch us. Kesey says it best. Everybody has a career night on the Bucks.
That's true.
But what about Gordon Dragic? You know what I mean?
He's hurt.
I'm just saying he is working out in a facility, and he played for the Raptors, but he's working out in.
He played for the who?
The Raptors. Jesus coming back.
He played for the Raptors.
Isaiah Jr.
All right, that's cool. Hallelujah.
You said Raptors.
You said Raptors.
Like Jesus. Raptors.
Everybody in here said it was Raptors.
Raptors.
You said
Raptors. You said Raptures.
Anyway.
Now it's not funny.
Listen, it's way closer than what he be saying. He go from, the white guy. with the beard.
But you know what
Okay,
I'm
you
talking
just
about.
named 99% of the coaches in the league.
See, that wasn't necessary, man. I didn't
Yes,
do
it
that.
was. So Mario
And
Chalmers,
you wonder
I
why y'all my
believe,
real friends.
because he had a 10-day with Memphis.
Yeah.
Now he has a 10-day with Miami. What I've learned about the Miami Heat, guys, is the Miami Heat are loyal. They're loyal to former players. And so I can see Mario Chalmers being signed for the rest of the season. Now, again, if he's going to get clock or minutes, that's another question because, again, the Miami Heat are still looking for that legitimate backup point guard because they have not identified it. And let's be honest, Kyle Lowry has not been that credible point guard that people wants to be.
I mean, he is. I think when Miami even picked up Kyle Lowry, he was there to be a locker room guy. He was there to be a leader for a bunch of young athletic players, and that's who he was supposed to be. Unfortunately, he had to give up Dragon to get him.
Drag
Drag-On.
I
Are
said
you
Dragon.
talking about me?
You know who Dragon is, though.
Tragic. So
I
anyway,
did that on purpose. Man.
the
Really.
we know
No,
the backup point guard really is Tyler Hero, and Tyler Hero
is not a point guard.
he's really not. He's like a Steph, not like Steph in terms of scoring, but Tyler Hero is really there to get you a bucket.
off the bench.
He's there to get you a bucket. And so if you're looking for a backup point guard, Chalmers might be a good option. Again, no one's seen him play. He hasn't been out as long as Thomas. He hasn't been out as long
He
as
just had a stint in Memphis, though.
he had a
played pretty
10-day
good.
before this, but also here's the thing though. When Bam Adebayo comes back, he has to go. They have an injury exception right now.
Well, I mean, speaking of like guys with these stimulus checks, which
I think
So-
Victor Oladipo next to go on the reserve list.
Yeah, he's
But-
already there, I think.
But he's holding a roster spot, so they can take him off.
and put them on injury reserve.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, but when you on injury reserve, I think you have to be out for a certain amount of time.
And it depends on the type of injury. Like they have to put you officially in DNP mode. You have to be in do not player mode or IL mode. But go ahead, Z.
Something like that. But what I was saying to say was, speaking of these 10-day stimulus check that's been handed out, Stanley Johnson got one with the LA Lakers, and they're thinking of possibly keeping Stanley and releasing DeAndre Jordan. What are you guys' thoughts on this?
Stanley who?
I like Stanley Johnson, and the reason I like Stanley Johnson is probably one of the reasons why LA is going to keep thinking about keeping him, because he plays both sides of the ball. He plays defense, he plays offense. He doesn't score a lot of points, but he's one of those guys who's a utility guy who can give you. He plays hard on both sides of the court, and I think with the Lakers, especially with their offensive woes and they're not being able to have this depth that they thought they were going to have, they're going to need those kind of guys. Because even with the young, they do have a couple young guys in Los Angeles, but they aren't doing either. They've been injured this whole entire time. I think his name is Nunn, and Kendrick Nunn, like that. He's been pretty much injured this whole season.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like,
So-
when did all these players get injured in camp?
And can't like they were supposed to come back.
I don't know, because I was sitting there looking at the Lakers roster. I'm like, Kendrick Nunn never played.
Never
Trevor
played.
Ariza never played.
Never played.
Um,
Well, what's his
Talon
name?
Horton Tucker, he just
He
came.
just came back, but he's still not producing like he used to.
Did everybody get hurt in camp?
Pretty
They're
much.
just man, the Lakers are just a really
Kendrick
No,
Nunn.
these are young guys.
Kendrick
Okay.
Nunn is young.
He's
man.
young, but Ariza,
Well, we knew Ariza was coming in hurt
Yeah.
because he got hurt like the first day he got there or
I
something.
think he stepped in and tripped in something, and then that was it for the year.
Man, shut up.
But-
No, that wasn't.
But the point is, look up Stanley Johnson real quick.
you got
But,
him.
so Stanley Johnson, he plays both sides of the ball.
He
and,
does.
and they need, like you said, they need depth, and they have an offensive woes, and they also don't play no defense in LA.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you both this. So, what are we looking for these players to do? Because Stanley Johnson, in his stint with the Lakers, he's putting up some minutes. So, what do y'all consider serious minutes? Over 15, over 20?
Oh, 10.
You
10,
consider
15.
that serious minutes?
If you're getting 15,
No, off the bench, 10, 15.
What do you
off the
consider
bench, I'm
serious
saying
minutes?
15 to 20.
Okay.
Starting, I'm saying 20 to 30 minutes a game.
Okay, so Nunley
It's only
played
40 minutes in a game.
48.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, 48 minutes in the game.
So Nunley played on Christmas. Stanley Johnson played on Christmas. 27 minutes. Scored 7 points and had 1 rebound.
And did he start that game?
I don't know. But 27 minutes is a lot of minutes to only score 7 points and have 1 rebound. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Hold up.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Hold
What
up.
people
Keith,
don't
hold up,
realize
hold up.
is you got to also look at a player's plus minus too, because the things he might have did that don't show up in the stats
That's true.
is going to be.
I was
on
going to
that.
bring that up. Stanley Johnson does a lot of stuff that doesn't necessarily come to the stat, makes it stats. Those guys are needed, especially if you're making championship runs, especially if you already have enough superstars on the Los Angeles Lakers.
Former superstars.
I'm gonna tell you like this: the Lakers, they need one defensive anchor, somebody that's gonna set the tone every game, night in and night out. That
Now that person,
and they don't have that one person yet.
You're right.
That's identified as this is our defensive anchor. We're gonna sick this bulldog like the Bucks knew when things got rough. We're gonna sick
PJ.
We're gonna sick PJ on them.
Yeah.
And everybody knew that.
Yeah.
PJ was gonna sit down on you.
And if we got 2 people, we'll put the holiday on the other guy.
Exactly. We're going on a holiday.
Yeah, and you're right about
You
that.
can't put that pressure on LeBron no more.
Exactly.
Because if he got to do that, he ain't going to be able to put up that 30, 34, 36, 43, and whatever else he's doing.
Exactly. And then on top of that, Anthony Davis, if he blocks somebody's shot, he going to get hurt coming on the way down.
Man, he can't even land without scratching a toenail or something.
Exactly.
I'm so sick of him, man.
And then Westbrook don't play defense like that. Not worse than James Harden, but, you're close. So
Westbrook is not a bad defender. You know what his problem is?
what?
He takes too many gambles. You ever met those
Yeah.
type of players?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Where they want to gamble and get steals so bad,
Does that
they'll
make-
burn you up off of that. And that's what he has to do mentally. Like, I got to play within this system.
he plays defense like he plays offense.
So back to Stanley Johnson, who's also with the Lakers. You both made a comment earlier that he's made an impact. So 94 Feet Nation, his impact: 7 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. Very impactful. The next game, 32 minutes, 9 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Very impactful. Against the Grizzlies, 7 points, 3 rebounds, 1 steal. Very impactful. The 31st, 10 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Very impactful. So, what you all are looking for in terms of impact, I'm not. No.
Go
Let
ahead.
me finish.
Go on, I'm gonna let your Stephen A moment.
I'm not. I can't wait to watch them tomorrow. I hope they give Antonio Brown some grace.
No,
I hope they give him some grace.
They should.
His
But
mental health is real.
mental health is not. Mental health is real, but he doesn't have mental health. We continue.
So
You almost got your words twisted, man. You almost got yourself in some shit.
I almost got myself in something.
they would have been like, listen, Tony, they would have been boycotting this podcast.
You know, everybody not listening
Your
to us no
whole
more.
network would have went down on that one.
If there's any other time I'm like the words and opinions of that nigga right there does not reflect this network.
Listen,
But I say that to
I
say
had that brother going out here looking like Martin when he
For
got
real.
in a fight with Tommy Hearns.
they would have been like, Trey, where's this Zeke at? I don't know what you talking about, man. What you mean? I'm just a guest on that show.
I'm
But-
just saying, because
These
this
are-
whole network started because of mental health, bro. What's wrong with you?
These are my friends.
We're your brothers. We're more of your friends.
These are
But
my.
anyway, when I say impactful, if you're going to get rid of DeAndre Jordan for this,
Look of DeAndre Jordan stats.
but again, it's about the chemistry. It's about the camaraderie. It's about the terrible coaching that's going on in LA. DeAndre Jordan, if they just play him in the middle, he can still get boards.
So what you're saying is the problem is Vogel.
Vogel is
We've
part
been-
of the problem,
So
but
what's the-
Westbrook is the real problem. In
Why
LA.
is Westbrook the problem?
Because his triple doubles sometimes include 10 turnovers on multiple nights.
I can give you that.
Not only that, Westbrook, you had KD, you had Bill, you had Melo, you had Harden, you now have LeBron, you had AD, you got Melo again. and
AD
you
don't count.
Still can't. He's a champion. AD counts. He's a top 75 player.
AD
Miss
only,
me with that. He
AD
counts.
AD only averaging 8 points a game this year,
Westbrook
and he's a superstar.
needs to learn how to take a back seat.
It's not how he plays.
Well, he'll never win a championship because he's one and done in LA. I bet money. He's one and done.
Well,
Really?
He's out. Let the Lakers go to that play-in tournament and lose, which they probably will. He's done.
I mean, if they talk to LeBron, depends on how they feeling. So
Go ahead.
real quick, now you just went over
Stanley
Johnson stats
Yes.
over the last 3-4 games.
Last 10 games last couple games with LA.
Let's talk about DeAndre Jordan. Versus Portland, nothing.
Nothing.
Versus Memphis, nothing.
How
Versus
many
Houston,
minutes? How many minutes?
These are minutes. 0.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. He's not
Houston,
getting any
0.
play.
Brooklyn, nothing. Let's talk about when he did have minutes. San Antonio, 7 minutes, 5 points, 4 rebounds.
4 rebounds in 7 minutes is not bad. No, is it? You both are hoopers. 4 rebounds in 7 minutes when you're playing on the court with LeBron and Dwight Howard because they've been playing them together on the court. 4 rebounds in 7 minutes is not bad.
But
All
at
right,
the
I'll
same
give you
time,
that.
how many buckets he gave up?
Here's the thing. You don't have DeAndre to shoot. We've already talked about
Maybe
this. His
that's
job
what I'm
is not to shoot.
I didn't say anything about his shooting.
You just said how many shots did he give up?
How many buckets he gave
Give
up?
up.
That means
Ah,
how many people
My
scored?
bad. I misheard you. How many shots did he take?
How many missed rotations does he miss? This is what you got to look at when you really looking at your big man. Like how many rotations does he miss? How many contested shots does he miss? These type
Yeah.
of things don't show up on the stat sheet.
I agree with you, Kesey. Like
How many times has he made somebody change their shot when they
Yeah.
drove to the basket?
is he a defensive presence?
You
Because that's what they got him for.
You have DeAndre for rebounds and blocks. And when he played, when he had minutes, other than on December 23rd, he had at least 1 block every game. At least 1 block, and he had
So-
rebounds every game.
So okay,
And
here's the
hold
question.
up.
Go ahead.
There's one game where he played 15 minutes and he had 8 rebounds. There are players that play games back to back that don't have 8 rebounds in a week.
But he had 1 point.
You don't have them to score. You don't listen.
He can at least get 2 tip ins. Come on, man.
Listen.
At least 2 tip ins.
Listen.
He's 7 foot.
Listen. What
7 foot.
I'm saying is we need players and teams to embrace what players are going to play the Dennis Rodman role. Dennis Rodman would have 0 points and 20 rebounds.
That role no longer exists, man. This is a different type of league.
That
You got
is-
1
that's
through
true.
the 5 shooting threes. If he can't go out there and defend a 5 on the 3-point line, he's no good to your team.
I don't disagree with
And
that.
that's the issue right now because you got so many big players that can shoot the ball from deep.
True.
Like Joker. If you can't guard Joker from out of the 3-point line, you're done as a big man. He's going to cook you.
That's
Only
true.
big man that don't shoot threes that probably stand a chance is Rudy Gobert. And that's because he has good reaction time. He knows his positions. He knows where to go and how to contain you from getting all that extra drive to the basket if he pushes you off the 3-point line.
So okay, the question is when we break it down, Stanley Johnson or DeAndre Jordan, who you taking? You cutting him or you leaving Stanley Johnson?
I seen Stanley Johnson play recently, and I would keep Stanley.
I've always liked Stanley. He doesn't put up a lot of points, but like I said before, he plays hard on both sides.
He
of the
plays
floor.
hard. He gets deflections. He makes people change their shots up. He might not get the block every time, but he's going to change
there.
it. He's going to change up your shots.
I mean, I'm gonna keep him simply because he's younger.
Mm.
You can build around it. I don't mind that he's young, but all I'm saying is you guys mentioned earlier that the Lakers brought him to make a difference, and I don't see the difference that he's
I'm
making.
not making a difference. What we talked about prior was like the 10-day contract in general. Like, are you looking for these guys to make an impact? And you made a very good point where you're saying that these are like stimulus checks.
That's it.
Like these guys, they need roster spots. Hey, what are you doing? Nothing. You want to do something for 2 weeks? Cool. We'll sign you real quick. And then you get a little money. You sit on the bench. You might get in the game, and that's the end of your career, or not the end of your career, but that's all they need you for. But in this situation, particularly, you got Stanley Johnson, who's actually making an impact. That's why they're thinking they're keeping him. Now, it doesn't always show up on the stat sheet, but when you have 3-4 superstars on a team, you shouldn't need another superstar to get 20 points a game.
Agreed.
Listen,
110%
but one thing
agreed.
you got to realize.
Give yourself a round of applause.
Thanks, Dad.
One thing you got to realize though is it's a reason why Brooklyn got rid of DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah.
So the Lakers are seeing that reason now, and that's why he's not getting minutes like he was at the beginning.
I disagree. And make no
What do you
mistake
mean
about
You
it.
disagree.
I'm about to tell you.
Tell me why. Then.
I'm about to tell you. Be quiet.
If you stop cutting me off, I didn't even get
I
to
didn't.
say
You
what else.
stopped talking.
I did not.
Yeah, you did.
No, I did not.
You did.
Listen here. If you want to meet me outside, just say you want to meet me outside. We can end all this back and forth.
I was just gonna ask. So y'all want to step outside?
No, for what?
Me
I'm
and
gonna
Tone
waste
can
my
finish.
Come on, Tone. First pause. First pause, Tone. Give us 3 minutes. That's all I need. 3.
Well, you wouldn't make it up the steps because I'm gonna kick you in your shin
All right.
as soon as
can
you
we-
get up. No, anyway,
Listen,
seriously
now,
though.
you know it's illegal to use your feet. Come on, man. All right, y'all.
All right.
So here's the thing. I'm not defending DeAndre Jordan like he's still a rookie. All I'm saying is when you sign these big or players in hopes of winning a championship, chemistry has to come into play. The Lakers have several big men over there. Okay, you got Dwight, you got now Stanley, you got
Stanley like 6'8".
yeah, but still, that's by standards, this can still be he still plays that forward position.
4, yeah.
And if D and Dwight are on the court at the same time, somebody's playing that power forward role.
Well, you got a fragile AD.
AD, who also I forget about him because
He's fragile.
who shouldn't have been a top 75 player.
He's
What I-
fragile.
What
Do
I
you
heard,
got
he
Dwight?
might be on his way to New York.
Well, get him out of there because he has done nothing for LeBron's legacy. He's done nothing for the Lakers' legacy
Well,
of
they did get a championship with him.
in the bubble.
Why does it?
It's the
You know
bubble.
what?
man.
It's the bubble.
It's the
Listen,
bubble.
What is the bubble? What's the difference?
the
Are
difference.
hold on. Are they the same players? Are they using the same ball?
Smaller
Are
court.
they using the same rim?
Smaller court.
What do you mean smaller
Smaller
That
court?
court was 94 feet.
It is 94 feet.
No, it was not. Not in the bubble. No, it was not.
Oh my God! Do you not know that the NBA has regulations for their floors? They have to be 94 feet. Go look.
And if you think the bubble was 94 feet,
Go
That's
look
why
it up.
The court was elevated.
It's
for that
not.
reason. But in the bubble, it was.
The floor was still the same length.
Was
You
it?
cannot have a floor at a different length, man. That don't even make sense. Think about it.
Besides that point, boy, you getting all
I'm just
open
saying- I'm
arms.
just saying.
Besides that
That
point,
gotta be blatant. Like, oh man, I understand. Like, there's no way they can change the size of the floor.
the point is,
Listen here,
the
bro.
point is, you.
Nevertheless, fine.
Nevertheless.
fine. The bubble was 94 feet. Fine. But it was still the bubble.
It was still a bubble.
It was like the gym, bro. It was not. Listen, I am not one to question championships because if I did, I would question KD's with Golden State.
We don't get there.
Okay, I'm a Bucks fan, but let's not act like America's not questioning Kevin Durant's pinky toe over that line. Let's not act like folks aren't saying we wouldn't have won if his
It was the big
pinky toe or
It was-
the
it
big
was-
toe
it was the big toe.
wasn't a. Hold up.
You question whenever you want to question.
Let's not
But at
act
the end
like
of the
people
day-
aren't questioning LeBron's other championship during the lockout year that he won. So Anthony Davis championship in the bubble means nothing. Okay, it means nothing. Anthony Davis
I
should
didn't
be
say that.
leading the Lakers. He should be leading the Lakers. LeBron should be getting ready to ride off into the sunset. He should be able to come into a game, score his 16 points, play his 25 minutes, and let Anthony take on the leadership of the team. But instead, LeBron has to play like he's 20. He has to play almost 48 minutes and have a double-double on almost a consistent basis just for the Lakers to barely beat the Houston Rockets.
No, actually, they beat the Rockets pretty bad last night.
Okay,
It was,
last night, but let's look at
was
the stats throughout the year.
Memphis.
They're barely beating teams that they should be blowing out. Okay.
They beat Portland bad too.
They
Oh,
are
that's-
barely beating teams that they should be blowing out. And why? It's because everything is on the back of LeBron. And that franchise invested their money in Anthony Davis. He was supposed to be the face,
Mhm.
and he has failed the Los Angeles Lakers franchise.
I'm just gonna move on because I see you having a Stephen A moment.
You don't agree?
I agree with everything you said. It was just,
Okay. You
This
don't
is-
agree? As a Laker
Listen,
fan here, has he
this
not
is the
failed?
one time that I'm actually going to have to agree with this job turkey over here.
Oh, wow. What's with the? You know what, y'all? Time
No,
out, time out,
because
time out, time out.
no.
Why are y'all so hostile
No,
today?
let me
Oh
finish.
my God.
Hold on, let me
In
finish.
Jesus'
See, I
name, do
can't
we
even-
got some anointed oil up in
I
here?
can't
time
even
for
finish saying what I got to say.
Say what you have to say, Marquis Davis.
Now,
Wow.
why you want to go there?
Wow.
There you got to go there.
Oh wow.
I just called you.
Andre Xavier Douglas.
Man, let me put my government.
Well, they don't put my government name out here like that then. Listen.
I'm just gonna move forward.
No. Go ahead. I want to hear what he has to say.
Go
Go ahead, bro.
No, but you started out the podcast like everything on the Lakers should be on LeBron's fault.
No,
I did not. No, we did not
We
say
said
that.
everybody is taking blame except for LeBron.
And he's saying it like y'all saying LeBron should be taking blame because what you say, LeBron put this together, right?
And he did. And he should. Part of the
No,
blame
the
is
problem.
LeBron.
No, the problem is Anthony Davis, and nobody has took the balls to say it, but
We
Shaq.
said
But Shaq.
we said Anthony
I'm not
Davis
talking
was
about
fragile.
y'all. I'm
Oh,
talking about
the
all
rest
the
of everybody?
media.
Oh, they getting on him too, but continue.
Nobody's really getting on this case.
Not like
Shaq,
not like Shaq.
Shaq is on his. Shaq is on his.
He is. He's on his ass. I'll say it. Go ahead.
Listen, Shaq is on him, and Shaq said it best. You got to be the ticket. The
Yeah.
Lakers are only going to go as far as Anthony Davis can take us.
And I said that's exactly
And,
what I said.
and you got to remember, I just said I'm agreeing with you. You dive turkey. Listen,
He did.
Dude, this name calling, man.
Job turkey.
Nick, dude, Kesey can't call nobody by their name. You know that already. You call him, what's up, Mitch? Like, dang, dog, why you gotta start so hostile, man? But continue your rant on the Lakers.
no, just agreeing with what you said, man.
I agree with what you
Anthony
said.
Davis is the problem.
That
He's
job
part
The
of-
turkey.
Lakers' biggest issue right now is Anthony Davis.
Well,
Whether everybody want to blame it on LeBron putting his team together or Westbrook and his 10 turnovers or whatever they want to do, at the end of the day, Anthony Davis is supposed to be the Lakers' anchor. He's supposed to be the leader, like you said. He's supposed to be that dude,
I agree with both what y'all was saying and stuff
try to
like
think
that.
of
And
who can you say like that dude that played big?
it was
man?
supposed to be like
He's
just
supposed
like
to be like the
it's-
second coming of Shaq.
No, like just like in Cleveland when it was LeBron and Kyrie, and then LeBron was supposed to like kind of fall back a little bit and let Kyrie take over the team, but it never got to that point. But it's supposed to be the same thing. It's supposed to be the same thing where
It's supposed to be like
Anthony Davis is the younger player.
it was-
Anthony Davis is the more, I don't say more
It was supposed to
skilled
be like
in his
it's
position.
supposed to be like the Dwayne Wade passing the torch to LeBron coming to his
Yeah,
team.
you can say that.
You know what I'm saying?
Kind of like that.
It was just like that. Like when LeBron came to Miami, Wade was like, you know what? You supposed to be the better player. You take over now.
Well, I mean, yes and no because they came around the same. They came out around the same time.
but Wade is a little older.
Wade is a tad bit older.
Wade had put in 3 years of college.
4 years, didn't he? Wade played 4 at Marquette. I
He played
thought.
4. He played 4.
Yeah, he played 4.
No, he played
No.
1 year at JC.
right.
he only
right,
played
right,
3
right,
years.
right.
But they were still around the same age, and so
he's about 4 or 5 years older than LeBron.
I don't think he's 4 or 5 years older than LeBron. But what I'm saying is he passed the. He didn't want to pass the torch to him, but he was made to pass the torch to him because he's like LeBron is obviously the better player than me.
But that's what they brought AD in. Like AD, you're going to be the next generation of this Lakers team. So if he came in and he played up to the standards that they set for him,
Mhm.
the Lakers wouldn't be where they are right now, regardless of what Westbrook is playing like.
I mean, I agree with you.
Because you be giving him the ball and Westbrook wouldn't be able to get them turnovers. But you can't even give him the ball because every time somebody turn around, somebody can blow at him and I think I broke a finger. Somebody
I
coughed by
agree
him.
with you.
Oh, I think I rolled my ankle.
I agree with you. I mean, I agree with you.
I mean, every single time I turn around, this month it's hurt.
I agree with everything
You
you're
are
saying.
really upset at Anthony Davis.
Dude, because I had high hopes for Anthony Davis coming in to LA. Like, man, he gonna make a big impact. He gonna take the Lakers over the hump. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You remind me of when we got Stoudemire in New York. That is where you
Ooh,
are right now.
That's a good.
You know what? You damn right.
That's exactly what I feel your pain. I
Listen,
normally just don't jump
And
on
listen.
y'all show, but I feel your passion and pain right now.
Amari
bro.
was my dude back then. And when he went to New York, I was expecting him to do the same thing with Carmelo. And you know what that job turkey did?
Melo was there.
Yeah.
Melo was there.
They
Yeah.
both got signed at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
They were supposed to be like Amari's supposed to come in and take over so Melo can take a little back burner to him. But Amari came in and did nothing
and fell apart
and fell apart like an
piece of
action
paper.
figure with a 6-year-old.
Yeah,
And
pretty
I
much.
think when Amari came to the Knicks at that time, he was also addressing, and it wasn't really as public back then, but he was also addressing mental health issues. He was on his hunt. Yeah, if you look back, Tone, you probably remember he was on a hunt for spirituality. He was doing more stuff with his own religion, and he was taking himself away from basketball by the time he was with the Knicks. So he really wasn't interested. He kind of reminds me of Andrew Bynum by the time
I
he
would
got
let
back
that
from the Knicks.
slide if he didn't have that fantastic year when it was time for free agency the next year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but that 1 year. But I get what you both are saying. I agree. That was a great analogy that Tone made. But again, the Lakers' trouble is on many players, on many people, including Rob Pelinka.
Their biggest trouble right now is Anthony Davis not producing and Anthony Davis not staying healthy. I don't know what he's not doing,
I just think
but he has something to do to figure it out.
I think one of the things that about this whole Laker team, and I didn't want to spend this much time on the Lakers, but apparently y'all are passionate about them. Y'all, I haven't said anything. I said what I had to say. That was it.
Well,
Okay.
this
Yeah.
segment.
So with Anthony Davis, like I as much as this is on Anthony Davis because he's the younger player, I'm not gonna let LeBron just skate away free, because obviously, like I said before, and like I will stand by this, LeBron put this roster together. So whether he put this roster together, no matter who signed the checks, he still put this roster together.
But
And so when you talking about Westbrook, it wouldn't be 10 turnovers if he gave the ball to Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is by the time, I think a lot of times we get caught in nostalgia how these guys used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Davis, when he was in New Orleans, used to be 25, 10 a night. Guaranteed, no question about it, because he had the ball in his hand all the time. Now, in the midst of all that, he did have some injuries. So when he came to LA, they was like, there is a chance Anthony Davis could get hurt and be out for a long time. But when he plays at a high level, that 25 and 10 is a consistent thing. So when you talk about, it's all on Anthony Davis, or, it's all on these guys or whatever, LeBron, even though he's last 10 games, he's averaging like 30 points a game or something like that. And he is, I don't know what to do as far as like who to put the blame on. But partial of it is on LeBron. Part of it is on LeBron.
I'll give part to LeBron, but I'm blaming Anthony Davis. Because tell me one game where you felt like, just even any game you watched him play, that you felt he was the most dominant player of the game.
On the court, no. I agree with you.
Not one game this season have I seen that.
You see glimpses of it. It's very
for like
few
33
glimpses.
seconds here and there.
But
I need quarters.
I think you know what I think.
Halves.
You know what I think? It's a lot of like when you watch the Lakers play, you see that they're not. I want to say organized and together. You don't see a link of them together. Like when you see Golden State together, you can see them running an offense. You can see them putting together plays. We know who to get the ball to. We know what Steph knows what he needs to do, and these other guys fit in where they need to fit in.
Exactly. They know.
And you see the Los Angeles Lakers not doing that. Even with the Phoenix Suns, you see them kind of doing that. But with the Lakers, you do not see them do that. You see LeBron James coming down. He looking at the court. He looking at them. All right, I'm finna just shoot it. And then you see him making these from the logo shots and stuff like that, because he like move around. Like, I'm not finna tell y'all move around, because I'm not finna give the defense know what we doing, but move around. What are y'all doing? So I'm just finna shoot it from the logo. And when Russell Westbrook got the ball in his hands, he's pushing it, and then he's playing like he's in OKC. He's playing like he was in Houston, and that's just who he is. Well, now I will say this: at a certain time in your career, you have to adjust. If you do not adjust, the game will pass you by. Westbrook is looking like the game is passing him by. He's athletic, and that's why he can score these buckets. But at the end of the day, the game is passing them by.
And I think some might say, besides,
All right, get this nigga a round of applause.
give yourself a round of
Give him a round
applause.
of applause.
Give yourself
Thanks,
a round
He
of-
did make some good points. I ain't even gonna lie.
You know.
Thanks, Unc. Appreciate it.
Oh, so he's Unc and I'm Dad.
yeah, both y'all ain't that.
But not to cut you off though, Dre. But I agree with what you said, Zeke. He has to evolve because players like just think about Chris Paul.
Chris Paul.
He came in the league as a itty bitty bucket. You know what I mean? But then he realized I'm not going to be this athletic. I'm not going to
Forever.
be this quick forever. So he started using
Yeah.
his IQ.
As that. And you know what's funny? When he came to Phoenix, he was like, "Oh, this guy's a scorer. I can just give him the ball." Because if Chris Paul, if he doesn't have to, he's not scoring 20 points.
He doesn't want that. He's
Like-
in the career now where he's like, I don't have to put up 20.
Yeah, like he has an athletic team around him. A bunch of young athletic guys. They know how to get to the bucket.
He's using his IQ and he's
Deion,
developing them into
Aiton
the
is in the
players,
post.
developing them into the players he needs them to be around him.
Exactly. I mean, like I said before, I didn't.
But I think
talk
both
about
of y'all
this,
owe me
but-
some money though, because I think I was the one who said Chris Paul was going to go to Phoenix and turn them around with
You-
Devin Booker.
No. I said that. I agree
I
with
said
you.
that.
I agree with you.
I know I said
One
it.
person at this table didn't. So that's just on him.
I wish
If
we
y'all
go
want to
back
talk
and
about that,
we got to go back and replay that episode.
So-
we'll talk about that behind the scenes.
In the last 30 games, notice I'm ignoring him. In the last 30 in the last 30 games, though, Anthony Davis has only had 13 double-doubles in the last 30 games.
Yeah.
When you are someone of that caliber, it has to be every night. It has to be every
But you know
night.
what's funny about that? You know what's funny about that?
And then he went down to injury. I'm sorry, I have to cut you off. He went down to injury. But again, I think that goes back to just because you're a superstar, it doesn't mean you should play with a superstar. Because
Hmm.
Brody some games gets more rebounds than Anthony Davis. That shouldn't be happening.
But you know what's funny about that?
That shouldn't be happening.
This is the first time this happened to LeBron James or somebody who's played with LeBron James. You also know what's happened to? Kevin Love,
Oh, absolutely.
Chris Bosh.
I hated when Kevin Love joined the Cavaliers because I'm gonna tell you, you remember Kevin Love was a walking double. We're talking
25 and 10.
high walking double double.
No, like 30 and 15.
A bucket. Kevin Love was shooting threes, and the minute he joined up with LeBron in Cleveland,
He declined.
he declined. Chris Bosh, folks dogged him out so bad that they started calling Bosh 2.5 men.
And Chris Bosh used to be 25 and 10.
A bucket and a rebound machine and a block shot machine. So it takes a special kind of player.
So LeBron's the problem?
Kesey has said it many times before he jumps down my throat. And there's some other things on your agenda that I want us to talk about. So let's move on from this. But
Thank you.
I think Kesey said it best, and I'm going to agree with him, is you have to acknowledge that the minute you play with LeBron, there might be some changes. There might be some decline. It takes a special player to play with LeBron. But here's the problem. Russell Westbrook still hasn't declined in anything. He's still taking too many shots. He's averaging 8 to 10 turnovers a game.
Real quick. This isn't on the agenda at all, but since we're here, we might as well be up in this thing. Carl Anthony Towns, I'm sorry. He said on I think it was on Stitch or something like that. He said Russell Westbrook is a stat stuffer. He said he's a stat stuffer. And then he said he was a stat stuffer. And then in defense of Russell Westbrook, Draymond Green said, he's watched Towns stat stuff himself. And like he said we were blowing y'all out. He was blowing it in Minnesota out by like 20, and you were still in the game. So why are you still in the game? Y'all down by 20 in the fourth quarter or something like that. And so he was pretty much saying, how you gonna talk about another one of y'all brothers and you've been accused, you've been doing the same thing. And I want to just kind of ask y'all a quick question is because we talk about stat stuff like it's a bad thing, but is it really a bad thing?
Yeah.
It's a terrible thing, especially when your team sucks.
Why do you think Minnesota sucks?
'Cause that's all, they're
sucks.
all about themselves.
They
Cat,
all, everybody on that roster.
Edwards.
You think they're all about themselves?
What?
I think they're gonna make the playoffs.
Bruh, no, they're not in this lifetime.
Good
Bruh, Edwards said himself in a game, how do you do this to your team? Well, they should have passed me the ball, but we're gonna have to talk about that because they should have passed me the. How do you go on TV and throw your teammates under the bus like that?
He young.
You still don't do that to your team.
He young.
The Timberwolves stat stuff, yes. And if you're on a losing team and like Draymond said, and you're down by 30 and you're still in the game, what do you think that's about? We've seen players take dunks. We've seen players take final steals to get those stats up. So the NBA is a stat stuffing game. Giannis does.
Okay. So when you say the NBA is a stat stuffing game, you're saying everybody's a stat stuffer.
Everybody's a stat stuffer.
So is it a bad thing then?
I think it's a bad team when your team sucks.
So how do you determine? Okay, first of all, let's just get this out of the way. You can't just go into a season, hey, we're going to suck, so I'm going to score as many points as I possibly can. You cannot go into a season. Even the Houston Rockets, as bad as they look on paper, I'm sure they still went into every game trying to win it.
So
so that's why I'm asking this question as far as like, is it really a bad thing to be quote unquote a stat stuffer? Because when you say you're a stat stuffer, I think that like when I think of a stat stuffer, I'm thinking of a guy who has, let's say, 25 points, maybe 10 boards, and 1 assist. I think that's a stat stuffer. But when you have 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists, I'm not mad at that. Unless you're a point guard. Now, I think that when it comes to certain positions of the court, certain positions on a team, that's when the stat stuffing is kind of irrelevant or significant. Because when you a point guard, let's say Russell Westbrook, for instance, he's got 33 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists, but he also has 8 turnovers. So Russell Westbrook is getting the ball out there to guys, and he's also getting his. Yeah. So is he really a stat stuffer? Is this a bad thing? Like stat stuffing?
Yes, he considers a stat stuffer
label.
Because think of it like this: who's always supposed to be the first man back?
Point guard.
If he's too busy trying to get that rebound because he wants to get 10 rebounds tonight, that reflects on their defense as well too, because he should be back already, right? But if but if Russell in there trying to grab offensive rebounds, he's trying to get the quick steal gambles and all of that stuff, that's what puts the Lakers in bad situations. If you watch him play,
would you consider him a stat stuffer though?
Yes. Oh, Westbrook?
Yes.
All day. All day. Do you all remember the season he averaged?
But he had like 10 assists.
Do you remember the season that's a stat stuff. That kind of reminds me of the NFL, the year that I want to say it was
won MVP?
No, the year that Tom Brady was on the record for like so many touchdowns. Mm-hmm. He was passing the ball to the 1 yard line. You know what I'm saying? He was passing the ball to the 5 yard line. Same with Russ. Russ will pass the ball to you just to get a quick layup because he knows he wanted to chase that triple double.
Okay, hold on a second. I hate to be the guy that's defending Russell here, but if I am going in for the layup, because that's what Russell does, and I got like a defensive player behind me, and I see you cutting to the basket, and I dump it off to you, that's just a good basketball move. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think when it comes to like stat stuff, it depends on the position. If you're still getting 33 points and 10 assists, is that a good game for a point guard?
Say it again.
33 points, 10 assists.
That's a lot, actually.
If you get
10 assists,
33 points is a lot for a point guard.
If you get a win,
okay,
that's a lot.
Okay,
then I'm okay with that.
Then are you okay with that? So if you get the loss, then what?
Then I'm upset because then I'm looking at how many turnovers you had too.
Yes.
So 10 assists turn. But what is this? Okay, when it comes to turnovers, does it have to do with stat stuffing?
Let me not say that's a lot because Steph scores like 40 sometimes.
But Steph is not technically a point guard.
Well, he plays point.
That's because that's his position. But
he plays.
But technically,
he's 6'3".
Technically, he's really their shooting guard, and Draymond is playing the point guard because Steph is just running off screens all night.
Pretty much.
Forward. Right. So, I mean, I guess it goes both ways. Not going to lie. It goes both ways because you've seen instances where players are stat stuffing. For example, Devin Booker is not a stat stuffer. He's just a scorer. So let's not confuse scoring with stat stuffing. Devin Booker is a scorer. If you look at his stat line, he'll have 30-some points, maybe 5 assists, maybe 1 rebound. But when you look at Cat will have
I'm just
30,
okay. Let me run down
10,
some names.
7, 8. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Let me run down some names. Y'all say stat stuff or not?
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant,
Oh, clearly stat stuffer.
Allen Iverson.
Practice? Kesey, what is Iverson to you? Stat stuffer?
No, because those two guys in their own frame are killers, and you cannot consider them stat stuff. They are killers, like real live killers offensively. They're not looking to stuff the stat. They looking to really
So okay,
get a bunch of ass. Really,
okay.
basically, what it boils down to, like I'm gonna go out here and get a bucket on you tonight. I'm gonna have 50 on you tonight.
Chris
And it ain't
Paul.
about the stats.
Chris Paul,
No, absolutely not. He is not a stat stuffer.
Charles Barkley.
No, back then it really wasn't about that though. Back then it was genuinely for the love of the game, trying to win a championship.
Jordan.
No, didn't need to be because he was the GOAT. Didn't need to be. What?
LeBron.
This late in his career, yes. Because like I said, if anybody thinks LeBron doesn't want to leave this game as the all-time scoring leader, you're not a basketball fan.
I don't think he does. I think he has. I think the Lakers are going to make him, but I think, like you said before, if Anthony Davis was doing what he was supposed to do, if Russell Westbrook was doing what he was supposed to do, LeBron would be scoring like 20 points a game and would be just fine with that if they were winning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to kind of just talk about that real quick.
Real
just
quick
because
too, bro.
we labeled it stat stuffer like it's a bad thing, but I'm kind of on the fence with it.
Yeah. Kesey mentioned something real good for folks to think about too. Every game that the Lakers lost when AD was playing, he didn't have a double-double.
Oh, LeBron?
Anthony Davis.
Oh, Anthony Davis.
Every game they lost, he didn't have a double-double. Every game they won, even though they were against some garbage teams, most games he had a double-double. So that's just something to think about out there in NBA land.
Yeah. Well, the NBA and the Players Union are discussing an in-season tournament that includes a December pool play, a pre-basketball quarter semifinals, and then the finals. And it'll be $1 million per player payout on the winning team. What do you guys think about this? An in-season tournament.
Doesn't make any sense, really.
I hated the idea the moment I heard about it.
Like, I'm trying to think, like, what would be the point of it?
Besides money, I don't see the point of it.
Because majority of them probably donate that $1 million. They probably wouldn't even keep it unless you was like a rookie or something. Unless you was like what is LeBron gonna do with $1 million?
Okay, now LeBron, I get it.
Anthony Davis, he's paid. What are you gonna do with that $1 million?
Yeah, but other guys
Russell
on that
Westbrook,
team,
what are you gonna do with that $1 million?
other
Carmelo
people on that
Anthony,
team-
what are you gonna do with that $1 million?
Oh, Anthony can use it. He's getting paid.
What?
League minimum 2.4.
Did you see how? I'm sorry, Tone, but did you see how he raped New York for that check? No disrespect, Tom.
As a member of the New York Knicks delegates, we do know how that raping felt because we are still feeling it today.
Y'all
So,
thank
yeah.
Phil Jackson for that.
But
Sorry, man.
I hated the idea as soon as I heard it. I thought it was greedy. I thought it was not close to being entertainment. I mean, Draymond Green was kind of complaining about playing on Christmas. So they're trying to add a whole tournament to this thing. I'm like, no, man, that's stupid. Like, y'all do the play-in tournament is actually a legitimate way for teams of lower standings to actually get into the playoffs. That's horrible idea.
Well, not only that, I would agree. It seems like the NBA is awarding more and more mediocrity. Like the play-in tournament, not a terrible idea. I'm okay with it. But how many more chances do you need? It's almost like the whole college bowl thing. Like, oh, we suck, but we still gonna give you a college bowl.
But you know the reason they doing this?
It's money.
It's not the money.
As well.
It's the teams that are suffering because of the COVID. And COVID has really dampened a lot of teams that would be off to a better start. Like Atlanta would be off to a better start right now if it
I
wasn't
don't
for
think
COVID.
so.
They started out with like 8 or 9 players at the beginning out.
The only team that really is that COVID slapped around was Chicago, and they're doing just fine.
Man, they slapped everybody around.
Right.
COVID done slapped.
I mean, everybody. I agree with you. Everybody has slapped around, but I think like you said, you brought up Atlanta, and Atlanta wasn't like they've been this year have been kind of mid, but it has nothing to do with COVID though, because I think they just had a slow start. They had a slow start.
They had a stretch where COVID had them out like 7 or 8
That's true.
plays. So like, I mean, that plays a factor into, and that's out of mankind's basically.
It's an act of God.
There's nothing they can do to control that.
It's an act of God.
So like the league is trying to find new ways to give these teams ways to build back up into the playoffs.
Stay innovative.
You know what I mean? Stay motivated, even though they got a losing record.
Yeah. I don't think we need any more tournaments. The play-in tournament is more than enough. Players have more than, especially in this COVID world. Literally, KD was so cocky. He was on a podcast with Draymond not too long ago and basically said, yeah, if I wouldn't have got injured, we would have beat Toronto. Said it. Just undermined everything that the Claw and the Raptors went. And
I think we
most of us agree with that. So, I mean,
I 100% agree with that.
he flat out said that. And so the NBA doesn't need to give any teams any more chances to be great. Because if you can't catch up during COVID, I don't know what to tell you.
It was set up.
I don't know what to tell you.
They wanted to get Kawhi another championship so he can be another superstar.
Well, that ain't panned out well because he ain't played
Because he get hurt.
since.
Yep.
Well, in the episode of the Bootleg Kev podcast, I like that name too. Bootleg Kev podcast, Amon Shepard had something to say about LeBron. And what he said, what he said about LeBron was very, I don't say telling, but if you listen to what he said, I think you cannot deny that he was right. And it's one of those things where you think about the teams back in the day and how they think about how they
Keep going. Go ahead.
did the back in the day and stuff like that. I think that this is one of those things where but if you listen to what he said, he was right. And I think you got to give it to him.
So what he said was right.
What he said was,
I'm asking you a question. Like, what did he say that was right?
Oh, you asked me what part did he say was
You
right?
get offensive when it comes to LeBron,
I knew he would. So what he said was LeBron James, not Kevin Durant, ruined basketball. And he said he ruined basketball because he broke that fourth wall. And what he said was, what he meant by broke that fourth wall was they put free agency into the players' hands instead of it being between the GMs and the owners and stuff like that. It got back into the players' hands. What he thought was making basketball better, it made it worse. Because now you have guys talking to each other during the offseason, texting, communicating, saying, hey, we should team up. Hey, we should play together, and making it happen, making demands.
So do you not think that has been going on longer than before LeBron?
Nope.
I don't think it happened before.
So
LeBron.
how do you think Kevin McHale and
I'm glad you brought that
Robert
up.
Parrish? How do you think
They got
Shaq?
drafted there.
How do you think Shaq and Kobe got together?
Shaq was miserable in Orlando.
So he called
The
him.
GMs talked, and they said, hey, what you want for big fella? He was like, I'm glad you asked. And they talked about it. Kobe and Shaq didn't talk.
Are you sure about that?
I'm positive.
They didn't even like each other,
Because
bro.
I would just say they didn't like each other.
I saw the interview
So
where they talked about how they talked about before they came in. Like,
Yeah, when it's already happened. But did you hear what Jerry West said about that? So he said, I made that happen. Not Kobe. I made that happen. You know what?
How did Paul Pierce and them get together?
How did Paul Pierce get
so
together?
that was a
Again,
gift from
GM.
Kevin
Kevin
McHale
McHale and Danny Ainge.
and
talked.
Danny Ainge. That was a gift. They played together. They were boys. So he
But
gifted.
who are they two guys? What position? What
They
position?
were GMs.
There you go.
They were GMs, and Danny Ainge was the president of basketball operations. But to answer your question, I'm going to answer it because I can't wait to answer it. I'm a LeBron fan, and I've said this many times. For this era of basketball, LeBron is to blame for this era of super teams. I'm disappointed in Trump because LeBron
And Trump, I'm disappointed in Trump too.
Trump
Trump.
with an S. I'm disappointed that he went in and he slammed LeBron like that because LeBron was supposed to be his boy.
He said LeBron, no, he does. No, he ruined basketball.
Trump should have protected LeBron and not gone on a podcast and bashed him. It kind of reminds me of what Scotty did to Mike. But it's on those same lines, man.
So-
You don't cross those lines. And he crossed the line, but I don't.
What?
You don't throw your boy under the bus.
You
And
don't.
that's what he did.
And you know why Trump did it, right?
You don't throw your boy under the bus.
You know why Trump?
Mr. Dancing with the Stars,
Because
you don't do
How
that.
about-
Do you know? Do you know why?
Oh, get
Do
this
you know
man,
why
man.
he? Do you know how he
Why?
really did it?
Why?
He said it in the podcast. If anybody paid attention to what he was saying,
What? What did he say?
I think I should be playing over some of these other guys.
Mm-hmm.
He said it.
What does that have to do with anything? Are you telling? Hold on, talking about Keith, you saying jealousy, and you saying that he threw him under the bus?
All I'm saying is he wasn't wrong, but he wasn't loyal to LeBron. Trump, the only reason you have a championship is because LeBron brought you to Cleveland.
Okay.
He brought you to Cleveland.
Okay.
And so I think that loyalty is hard to find. I would have hoped he spoke to LeBron before he went on the podcast, bashing him, especially with Draymond Green, right? The fact that you went on there and you said these things while LeBron is still an active player is a distraction. I don't say LeBron ruined basketball, but he did start this era of super teams for his era and beyond, and we just have to live with it.
That's why he said he ruined basketball, though. That's a part. That's part of it.
In fact, Draymond Green 4 years ago said LeBron's the one that started it. So how can y'all be mad at Golden State for getting KD? Another story for another day. I still think KD move was the weakest in what LeBron did. But yes, LeBron, I'm not going to say ruined basketball, but he started this era of super teams that we can no longer get away
But
from.
hold on.
But it is breaking down a little bit. The league is more balanced.
Let me explain something to y'all first before we go any further and we get ready to wrap this up. My thing is nowadays there are too many players who are called superstars that are not superstars. Remember that.
Yeah. Okay.
Because back in the day, everybody wasn't called a superstar.
That's true.
They were all role players. It was Jordan and the Bulls. It wasn't Jordan, Scotty, and the Bulls.
Well, that's Scottie Pippen problem with it, but go ahead.
It wasn't Larry Bird, Robert Parrish, and the Boston Celtics. It was Bird and the Celtics.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
But they had all of these really good role players. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they wasn't considered superstars.
Yeah.
Kareem and the Bucks.
Okay.
But I bet you couldn't name none of the other players that was on that roster that year.
Well, it was
Oscar
Robertson.
But I'm saying, though,
Robertson.
they wasn't considered superstars at that time.
Who?
Oscar
Bucks
Robertson
team in the
was.
70s had many superstars.
They
No, they didn't.
had good.
Yes,
they
did.
They had a lot of good players, but they didn't label them as the superstar. They only labeled one person. Now everybody wants to be labeled a superstar because everybody wants a max deal and everybody
Okay.
wants to get
I'll
paid.
give you that.
So that's the difference between now and then.
Okay.
Everybody's looking for that bag now.
So what does that have to do?
And
with-
if you don't got that superstar tag, you don't get that bag.
So answer the question. Was Trump right? Did LeBron ruin basketball?
No, he is not right. LeBron did not ruin basketball. Money ruined basketball.
you said money ruined basketball.
Yes. Money ruined
Mm.
basketball.
How you say money ruined basketball?
Think about it. Every year the salary cap goes up, right?
Yeah,
Which
basketball is
makes-
the most watched sport. of
But
all.
also it makes more money available every year, right?
yeah,
So which allows people to make more money every year.
That-
Jordan was
that's
good-
ju- that's
hold
just-
on, let
go
me
ahead,
finish.
Go ahead.
Jordan is going to go down in the history as the greatest player ever, right?
Who?
Jordan, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Then how the hell do players like Amari Stoudemire have a career earnings 5 times as much as Jordan ever made in the NBA?
That's just called the economy.
They didn't play that far apart, is what I'm saying. Like that 10-year gap, maybe that wasn't that big of a gap for him to be making $200 million and Jordan only made $90 million out of his whole NBA career. Jordan made most of his money off of his shoes.
Sneakers.
and towards the end of his career. I agree with you, but here's the thing. When you say something like that, is that what you want to put? I might give it to you. When you say something like that, though, you can even go all the way back to Bill Russell.
Yeah.
But like I said before, that's just the economy moving forward.
No,
Hold on.
Let me finish.
Let me finish.
Let him go.
Let me say one more thing, and then you can go on.
Go ahead.
If it was because the economy was growing, then why didn't Scotty get paid?
Scotty didn't get paid. Scotty should have blamed his agent. Scotty signed that long-term deal with the Bulls. He should have blamed his agent. That was on him. Sorry, you had bad management. It happens.
He's a superstar, right?
It happens.
That's your boy, right?
He was
a star.
You make them eat.
He was a star.
Exactly, because he was a star. He wasn't the superstar.
Hold on a
There's
second.
only
Time
one
out.
star.
Time out.
There should only be one star on the team.
Time out.
And everybody's getting this tag as they a star. Ain't no damn star.
Even
And I'm tired of it.
Hey, what do we call that? A hot take?
the Stephen A. moment. What I'm saying is, when you say that though, because you're talking about
DC on fire.
because what you're saying is why weren't these guys making millions of dollars back in the 90s, back in early 2000s?
That's not what he's saying.
That is what he's saying.
That's
Because
not what I'm saying.
what do you? Because
They started off because players start getting more.
because
they got more. What do you call it? How do you say it?
more popular basketball
not
is
even
more
more
popular. It's
The
been
NBA
global.
The NBA was popular back then. Do you watch the arenas back
It
then?
didn't get
They were
popular.
packed.
Hold on, it didn't get popular or global
It's been
popularity
popular, global popularity.
until the Dream Team, because this stuff, the stuff that's available now, wasn't available back in the day. I agree with you. Everybody want to be a superstar. Everybody want to get paid. I get that.
Mhm.
And when basketball, especially $30 million, that's a drop in the bucket for owners. But when you talk about why, like as far as LeBron James breaking that fourth wall, as far as him, the players having more to say, as far as the NBA players saying, "Hey, I want to play with this guy, make it happen." That started with LeBron James.
Money ruined
You
it.
playing with your friends
Money
is supposed to be you playing against your
Money-
friends.
Money ruined it.
Did money have something to do with that because they had more money to expand?
more
and
money
give
had-
to everybody.
More money.
Yes.
More money had to
So-
do with it than anything.
I'm a big fan. I agree with
And hold on. I'm gonna say this. Even off of your boy, Steph Curry should be top 3 players played in the NBA right now. And
He is.
now of this last contract he got, but before that, he was like number 25 or 26.
I'm going to say this. I agree with both of you to a certain extent, but for the NBA to balance this league back out, first thing you got to do is lower that salary cap.
Sure.
Each team should have enough money for one max player.
That's the problem.
One max player. When you have these $100 million salary caps, and there should be a limit of how much luxury tax a team could do. Okay. The Lakers are over the luxury tax for what? To lose this season. Golden State had the highest payroll, but it yielded championships. If you set a salary cap limit and a luxury tax limit, you will once again balance out your team, and you'll do like the Oklahoma City Thunder did of old and build through the draft.
If y'all saying that, do you know the Bucks will have a championship?
I said in the future. I don't disagree with what you're saying, but the Bucks, now that we got it, we figured it out. We're on the path for a two-peat. I believe we're on the path for a two-peat,
Okay.
which will be really exciting. But I'm saying when you think about the future of this game, if you want a balanced league, again, you have to lower that cap. And some player might, listen, if this is the three of us and this is the super team, the 94 Feet podcast, and Tone has $30 million, he might have to say, Keith, you're going to be the superstar. I'm going to give you 15 of this 30. Dre and Zeke, this last 15, y'all going to have to split.
I'm walking.
Dre, we're going to give you 10 and Zeke, we're going to give you 5.
I'm walking.
Okay. Well, then you have to go.
But
And
that's-
you have to decide
but-
like James Harden did.
but-
I need to go be the man
But
somewhere else.
But this also makes players work harder to be better. Because as long as you keep handing them this bag,
Mhm.
they ain't going to work as hard as they used to.
Mm.
What you think happened to Davis? He
He
stopped
got
working after he got that
championship.
bag. After he got that championship and he got that
Yes,
bag sealed, he don't want to work.
Mm. All right.
Come on, man.
Well, this has been another entertaining 94 Feet podcast. I'd like to thank my brothers Dre and Kesey.
Yeah, Nation. Thanks for
And,
listening in. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Merry Christmas to all that's listening right now. You can always catch us on all the socials, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff, except for TikTok because we're adults.
Happy New Year's, good people.
And
Appreciate y'all.
You can also catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartMedia,
Your favorite network.
on any of your favorite networks.
All right.
Also listen to us on Spreakers.
94 Feet Nation, baby.
All right, peace.
Peace.